Okay, in the last 15 years, with the advent of computer games and video games and all sorts of other games and a variety of other things, we have increased the amount of time kids spend in passive activities. And one of the things that's happening to our kids is that they are not developing what is called the achievement motive. You know, the idea that they can organize something, motivate themselves, lay out a plan, and actually achieve or accomplish it. And so many school teachers, for example, will say, well, I'm still pitching, you know, like I used to pitch, but there are fewer kids catching it, you know, and so on. Then in other instances, we have kids who have very strong achievement motives, and what we'd like is to make sure that our kids had the motivation to achieve, you know, and to accomplish. Now, to understand what it is something that is based on the idea of I'm making part of the decision myself. And so a choice is involved and something called guided participation. So that you have a child's choice that's involved in some way, and then you have guided participation for them. That's different than telling them what to do or telling them what to expect and so on. And there are a variety of things that parents and teachers can do to actually accelerate the achievement motive either at home or in the classroom. So here are a few. Number one, when you have a child you give a child a task, for example, ask them to estimate how long they think it will take. If it's homework, have them estimate how many they're going to get correct and so on, so that they have to make a choice, kind of a prediction in that. And then the next thing you do is after they learn to estimate or set a goal, you help them identify an action plan, it is called. It's just a simple strategy of the steps they're going to follow, you know, to reach some goal. It's a very, very simple process. But it's very interesting when you talk with kids, for example, of many ages, to say, well, how do you get from here to there? They have a hard time mentally breaking up the steps, you know, of how they get from, how do you make a bed? See, for example. And how do we'll just say, go in and clean your room. And sometimes we fail to teach them that a series of steps is very useful, and we can show them that step, and then we can have them organize one and so on. So then we acquaint them with the idea of achievement, the whole achievement process, the goal, and the series of steps. And then one of the things we want to do is to reinforce the idea that effort and organization is as important as the accomplishing the goal. And so we do both. We don't just say, wow, you accomplished this, way to go. We say, well, let me tell you what you did. You worked hard. You followed these steps, and by following those steps, you're able to achieve something that was really important. Then we want to label them as an achiever. Kids of all ages, even adults, by the way, are influenced by what they believe to be true about themselves. So if you want your child to become more helpful, you could say, well, you're a helpful child, and then one day when you ask them to help somebody, the helpful kids will go act helpful. Well, we want our kids to do hard things. We want them to be able to face challenges. We want them to break it into small pieces and become an achiever, someone who accomplishes a lot, and so you give them a positive label and refer to them. Then you can set up like a 1 meal a week, for example, and you get out a piece of paper and at home, and you can say, let's take a look at all the things that everybody's accomplished in the family this week. What have you, what have you, what have you, what have you? And then we say, great. And because we've accomplished all these things, we're going to go have a family something, you know, on Saturday. And you build achievement and the idea of accomplishment into your family plan or your class plan. We've spent a lot of time with teachers teaching how to develop the achievement motive in class and teach achievement skills while they're teaching their curriculum. And it's entirely possible, and teachers can see their kids surge in their ability to accomplish a whole lot more if they'll teach them the achievement skills. So here's another one. You want to teach your kids to persist, to be persistent, and how you do that is you get them started in a task, and then you leave. And then you come back in a few seconds, and if they're working, you say, wow, way to go, here, have 2 Starbursts, and so on. And if they're not working, you say, well, let's get back to work. And then when you get them back to work, you leave again. And you leave and then you return, and you leave and you return, and you space the time out and lengthen the time between the intervals until you can get them to actually perform on their own. Lastly, we want them to learn to complete their tasks and to feel an emotional reward for doing so. So you could actually say, we're going to work on completing our tasks this week, and you show them what that is and what it's like, and then you have a conversation about how much happiness and excitement comes from accomplishing things that are important to them. I remind you, it has to do with free choice and guided participation. You can't control and make achievement motivation occur.